all, happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining me for a craft night with friends. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for beginners. And I'm here every weeknight, Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. It's a time that we can relax and craft together. So we are well on our way with the dog embroidery. We are going to add some metallic floss for his collar today. I did put a link below, or I did put a link if you're on YouTube or Facebook to a seller that has that Nishiki Ito metallic floss. So check out that link, and then you can click on that seller for more of that metallic floss as well. So we'll be using that today. So let's get it a go. All right, so we will also be starting the satin stitch of the letter as well. So all right, I'm going to zoom you guys in and we'll get going for the day here. Okay. There we are. So here is that floss, that metallic thread. So here again too, it's Nishiki Ito. I think this might be a different line from the same brand. So it's Cosmo embroidery floss. Then there's a sub brand of Lycian, and then there's a sub brand of that which is the Nishiki Ito, and then I think there's also the sparkle metallic embroidery thread. So I think the all these colors are the sparkle metallic embroidery thread. Maybe it all is. I'm not quite sure. But in my head, these metallics are the Nishiki Ito, and then these colorful ones are the sparkle metallic. So anyway, I am just going to grab this silver, and I think we will use this. So now, the ones that I have are not numbered, so I don't know the exact same, I can't compare it very well. I got these ages ago, and I think it was before they were packaging them different and stuff too. These might have even been samples, so I don't actually know what number each of one of these are, so I just linked to one sparkle floss, and then you can look at the other ones. But yeah, I don't know exactly which ones these are. So I'm going to do the sparkle, the Nishiki Ito thread for his little collar right there. So let's just grab a little bit here. I don't think we need a ton, although, should we double it up? I think we're going to double it up. So this is a little bit thicker, I think, than embroidery floss. I'm going to just double it up because I think it'll be easy to work with. We'll see. Then it'll be a little thicker too. Now we do have French knots, and those take some thread, but this is probably super duper plenty. I'm going to just trim it there. So it cuts with a normal scissors and everything yet, but the nice thing about the Nishiki Ito thread is that it doesn't have like that little filament that usually with metallic floss you have like a nylon or like some clear filament, and then all of the like little metallic floss is wrapped around. This is kind of made up of like a couple strands of little metallic threads. So it's still not as easy to work with as plain old cotton embroidery floss. I mean, metallic thread is like notoriously annoying to work with, but I do think that this is nicer to work with than some of that other stuff that just frays and is icky. So it's my favorite metallic. I haven't, lately I haven't explored what's out there in metallic threads a whole lot. Should we do let's do the, yeah, I'm gonna do this other way. So I was going to just thread this so I could just go on the loop right here and weave in the end, but maybe I should do, you know what, I am gonna stick with this. I was thinking maybe I should do the loop method where I actually thread this side to start, but the reason I did this is because we're already thick, and I don't want to have to pull 4 threads. If I had my needle here, I would actually have to pull like 4 threads through at once. This way I can double my thread and only pull like the 2 still. So I'm going to weave in the end, and we're just going to get going here. So I'm going to just weave into the backs of this red. Gretchen says, I love metallic thread, but it's delicate. It's worth the effort. Yeah, I like this kind too, because I don't feel like it's going to just fray into, like, nothing. But, you know, it is stiffer than normal embroidery floss. But I don't know, I just really like this kind. I think they did a great job. I should still try and maybe get some for the shop sometime. All right, let's get going. We are full of French knots here. I hope I have enough. I think it's going to look cute, though. Oh, enough thread is what I'm saying. Ooh, yeah. This is maybe dumb. I might not have enough thread, but let's give it a go. Ooh, and these are going to be big. I probably could have gotten away with just one strand. Oh my god, look how shiny! Alright, I gotta switch the angles here a little bit. There, hopefully that's a little bit better. But look how shiny that is, that little globe. Oh, I was gonna bring beads up here today, but my caboodles with my beads in were packed pretty deep in bins. I could see them, but it was like 3 bins, like of those clear Sterilite bins deep, and I did not want to dig down to get them, so I didn't bring the caboodles up. Ooh, I wish I would have gotten a little bit more floss here. I might have to get some more, which is going to be annoying. But look at how big these French knots are. Hold on, let me get this one done. These are like perfect little round balls of metal. Ah, they look so good. Look at it from the side. There's depth to it. They're funny. But yeah, I think I'm going to run out of thread before I get there. Should have known better. We'll see how we do. Because I need to go around this circle too, and that'll be a few stitches. I need to do this more often. These look awesome. These little silver balls. Yeah, we need to do more with metallic thread. Maybe I'll have to get some, and maybe we can do a project with it. Oh, see, now this is what I was afraid of by having there we go. By having just like the loop that I might not pull the threads at the same pace. All right, I'm going to do like a forward and a back stitch, and then a forward stitch and a back stitch, just to try and preserve the thread. I really don't think I'm going to make it to the end, though. So this is that little circle in the middle. So I'm making my little hexagon shape for the circle. So I mean, I can get quite some detail with this metallic thread. Like, it's not getting totally out of the way. I'm feeling comfortable stitching it. Like, it's not hideously horrible, like how it is a lot of times with metallic thread. Was that a back stitch? I think so. So I'll go forward here. But again, it's stiffer than normal cotton thread. If I get a knot, it's going to be super annoying to get out. So, I mean, you know. But I do think it's way easier than normal metallic thread. Oh, Gretchen says, I've discovered a new craft. It's called Hawaiian Applique. Have you heard or seen these? So is it like that, like Hawaiian, like a Hawaiian quilt almost look? So like where it's almost like you did, you know, like you folded your fabric like you'd fold, you know, similarly, like a snowflake, and you cut out all the little pieces to make a fun shape. Is it kind of like that, and then appliquing that on? I've been meaning, like, that's in the back of my head. I'd love to do a Hawaiian quilt. one of these days. All right, I have 4 more French knots, and I really am not sure I'm going to have enough of this thread. We're going to be right down to the line here. But look how good it looks. Just, it's so sparkly. I mean, this is just as good as if we had put beads on here. It looks, I mean, they look like little silver beads. We talked about using beads because we thought that'd be kind of fun, but then it was mentioned it might not be, you know, if this is used for a baby quilt when we're done, then you don't want like little beads on. Oh my god, I have 2 more. Can I get them? So this one's annoying and difficult. The last one will be even more annoying and difficult with just the itty bitty amount of thread. I might not be able to weave this in 3 times. I think I might have said that already. I either said that in my head already or out loud here. I don't know. All right, last French knot. Oh my god, can I even turn my needle this way? Come on, guy. Oops, I lost it. Hold on. 1. 2. Okay. Got my 2 loops. Let's see if I can pull that tight even. All right. Okay, we totally got it. There we go. Our little metal collar there. But I only have this much thread left, so I think I'm only going to be able to kind of shimmy it underneath this collar a little bit. And that's all it's going to be able to do. I could probably come back this way, but ooh, yeah, let's try it. So I think I can come back this way with the eye of the needle, but I'm going to have to cut it before I get the needle out because the needle isn't going to go all the way through. So let's just go to like there. And then I'm going to have to cut it out of here. There. There, that's some thread chicken for you, I suppose. Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't waste any of that metallic floss then, so that's good. But here you can see a little bit more what this is made of. It's like 3 little filaments of thread. Oh, maybe 4 little filaments of this like metallic thread. And now these are probably the nylon wrapped with metal. I don't know that for sure, but it's not fraying like other threads do. So I don't know what this is actually made of to have it be metal and still work. But anyway, barely any scrap. That's awesome. All right, so there we are. Super duper shiny. They do look like little beads on there. I think that turned out super good. Ugh, that was a great suggestion yesterday. I think that turned out fun. Okay, so let's see. All right, the last part that I want to get going on today is the letters down here, and we're going to use the red for that. Looks like we have a little piece of red. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yeah, we do have a piece already done. Good. All right, so here's a piece that's already cut from yesterday, from the collar. 2 fancy collars. So yesterday we did that satin stitch that was like crisscrossing almost. So that added some texture for that collar, and then, you know, that metallic collar, that's looking just so cool. All right, so let's get going on this. So I am going to draw out again, with a pencil, if I can find my pencil. There we are. I'm going to just draw out on here kind of how I want the satin stitch to go, because I think I'm going to rotate it around the curved shapes again, kind of like how I did here. Oh, look, Here I did like mitered corners. Let's do that again. That kind of goes with how we did the collar. So, geez, we're getting fancy here. So I went like this. I did the corners like so. How did I just do that? Oh, they all kind of met in the middle. All right, fine, let's just do that. So I'm going to draw some straight lines, and I'm going to just kind of draw. I'll put these on with stitches too, but it's sometimes helpful for me to just draw them out first. So like right here in the middle, by this point I want to be horizontal, which is what all of this is going to be. So all of this will be horizontal, then this will be vertical again. But by the time I get here, I want to be horizontal. So like this is about halfway, I'd say, where we'd be angled, and then I'm just going to kind of cut that in half. So this is just a guide so that as I stitch, I can try and be parallel to these stitches, and I'm going to be like rotating as I go a little bit. This is like crazy satin stitch. I mean, normally you would just go like one big stitch all the way along the edge in all the same direction. It would actually probably be a little bit more satiny like that. But we're doing it this way. All right, and then this one I had kind of cut off here. And these ones I went horizontal, so let's get some horizontal bits in. Those are easier to follow. And then here, okay, by here I should be horizontal again. This will probably be vertical, so vertical, 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 all vertical, and then it'll start to rotate. And I suspect I might want some additional ones in here. So I'll probably go around and put all these lines in with thread, and then we'll just fill in the gaps. So that is the plan here. So let's get started. All right. And I'm going to start with an away knot. That's where I put a piece of thread on reserve that I weave in later. Because I don't have any stitches to weave into. I could weave into the backs of these legs and then just jump here, but then you'd see that little line, and I don't really want to do that. I want to have these letters, this letter D, kind of sit on its own. So let's tie a little knot here. Okay, I just love how 3D these look. Like they're like, you know, a good at least 1/16 of an inch like off of the surface, which is cool. All right, let's just throw my needle in right there. So again, we're going to reserve like a little piece of floss that we can weave in later. That's the purpose of this. So, all right, I'm going to follow my lines here. Oh, which way should we do this? Should we go outwards in? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go from the exterior. Oops, geez. Got caught on my finger, on my hand. I'm going to go from the outside to the inside. I think that's what we did last time, and that worked really well, going like from the outside to inside, because I always want to start from the same side. So we're going to start on the outer ring and go to the inner. And you can see I'm just on the outside of my line here because I want to cover up the line. All right, and this will be horizontal. I'm going horizontal to that miter, that angle that we're putting in. That'll make more sense in a bit. All right, and then I'm going to just go down the line and get all my little markings in here. I think that'll be helpful. Helpful to get going. So we'll probably work on this today and a little bit of tomorrow. And then we can get this prep for quilting. Really, we have an extra day. All right, I think we'll have an extra day of the week to potentially quilt this, like how we did the other ones. So again, we did the quilting. We're doing quilt as you go process, so we can actually quilt these before assembling them into the final quilt. So here's our A, B, and C so far, and they have like the back fabric on and everything already. The other thing I'd like to potentially do if we have time is cut some of my sashing pieces. So we need sashing pieces, which is like a border around each block. We're gonna need that to do like the actual assembly. The actual assembly of the quilt as you go process, for the quilt as you go process. All right. So again, I'm just getting these guideposts in. These angles are what's going to be tricky later. Really, I could put more in, and I might like cut this in half with the thread before filling it in. So we'll just see how it goes. But it's helpful to get all these in first. There, here's my horizontal one, kind of like the halfway point. Definitely going to need more thread soon. Ugh. My hand keeps getting caught in the way. Alright, and let's just get this little bit here. That'll match up with that. And now let's just keep going. I'm going to start by kind of finishing doing this little miter. So I'm going to follow that diagonal that we drew in. I think I'm going to need one more to get it over on this side. All right, and I'm going to crawl up this angle here. Zoe, this is embroidery, so we are doing hand embroidery. There's machine embroidery that's done with a sewing machine, but this is all by hand. And we're working on a quilt that has the whole alphabet in, and there's going to be an animal for each letter of the alphabet. So we're just getting going. We have A, B, C, and now this is D. So this is going to be like a whole year project for sure. I suspect we'll probably get this done in like March or April of 2023. So we'll actually probably finish the stitching, the actual embroidery in February of next year. That's if we stitch it all through the holidays and that sort of thing. I think we'll end up in February. Hey Jennifer, and ooh, that was like a little stitch. I think I might have just pulled that out right away. So we'll just skip that. All right, I'm gonna do the miter on this side. So it's gonna be a long project, but I think it's gonna be really cute when it's done. But the quilting part of it won't take long because we'll have been quilting it as we go with this process. So I'm hoping that, you know, we'll just be kind of assembling quilt blocks at the end, and hopefully we'll have done a little bit of that already as well. So the actual quilt process is going to be shorter than it typically is. Oh, Alyssa says, I wish I had that much commitment. This is wonderful. So the only thing that allows me to commit to a big project like this, or any quilting project really, is that I'm here every night live doing it. So I'm here for an hour every evening, and that's my time to craft with everyone here. And if it wasn't for like knowing that I would have that dedicated time, I probably wouldn't have taken on a project like this. It's just, yeah, so just like it's still it was originally I originally started doing lives like 5 years ago, maybe even 6 years ago, like nightly at this point. Started on like actually started on like Periscope. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but the reason was because I wanted to build some consistency in my life. Because I would always start things and then just kind of, they'd fizzle out after a month. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be my thing for consistency, doing these lives. And then it was just so nice to have that consistent craft time, which I never really got. I would like binge craft on something when I needed to get something done. But was hardly ever crafting or, sewing, doing anything besides that. So I did the lives for the purpose of trying to be consistent at something. And I've been doing it for, like literally like 5 or 6 years. Gosh, it might even be more at this point. So if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be taking on like these large quilt projects like this. It took me a while. My mom started quilting like after 9/11, and I didn't, it was fun watching her do that, and so theoretically, like that's something like I love learning new things and doing that sort of thing. So my normal brain would have wanted to start quilting right away when she did, just because it was just interesting and learning and all that, and I love that. But it's just that these quilting projects were like a marathon, and I was just used to doing like these smaller projects. I want that instant win, and you don't get like a big finished instant win project with quilting. But since I started this like consistent crafting in the evenings, I've been able to get a ton of quilts done, or at least in my mind, it's a ton. How much does the material cost? So embroidery really can be as cheap or as expensive as you want. So, like, a square of fabric like this can be like 50 cents or less. I mean, and then some embroidery, thread, and all you really need is fabric, thread, and a needle. A hoop is a bonus. There's patterns and stuff out there, but you could draw your own. So really, for a couple bucks, you can be embroidering for sure. Otherwise, there's kits available. We have a bunch of kits in our shop, and those have everything in. But really, you don't need. The literal only thing you need for embroidery is some sort of thread, a needle, and fabric. And the fabric can be anything. It could be, a t-shirt. It's more difficult to stitch on a t-shirt or sweatshirt. Stretchy fabric like that is hard to stitch on. So just like some cotton fabric. But that could be, like a shirt or an old bed sheet or something too. So I like this cotton muslin just because the holes are a little bit bigger than like a tightly woven cotton. So it's just kind of fun. Oh, Jennifer, yours is freezing and jumping. It might be time to try deleting Facebook and starting it again. It seems like you might be having some Facebook trouble. Oh, I could quilt this one with dog bones, Amy is saying. Oh, that's a great idea. That'd be kind of fun. So, oh yeah, I was gonna try and, I need practice at quilting. So I need practice specifically at getting like into shapes and then getting out of them. So I should try. Maybe I should look up like a dog bone sort of quilting, because like I can imagine myself drawing the dog bone, right? It's the getting out of it and still being able to see that dog bone and it not getting lost. And then like starting the next dog bone. That's the part that eludes me, and it's annoying because, it. I know there's a trick out there. I just haven't dug into it. Do I ever accidentally stab myself with the needle? Not very often anymore. I mean, I do actually kind of feel the needle on purpose as I pull the needle through, just to make sure that there's no knots or anything like that. But these embroidery needles are kind of dull. They're not totally blunt. They'll still stab through fabric, but they're not so sharp that I'm that worried about it. So some needles are like super duper sharp. These are not as sharp, which is kind of nice. All right, let's weave in this end. I'm out of floss, and then I'll trim that excess that we did on purpose there. We'll weave in that as well. Got my matching red scissors today. I've stabbed myself with the needle more when I'm doing like some hand quilting or something other than embroidery. Alyssa says, embroidery projects are so fun to make. I like embroidery, at least this kind of embroidery where it's just like, some outlines and a little bit of filling in shapes and stuff. Not like, I love super duper intense, ornate, like thread painted embroidery. I like all that too, but I like these because they're quick wins. That's nice. Oh, Adrian says maybe you could also quilt words like woof or bark in. I like that. See, now it'd be cool to like woof and bark and little bones. It's literally, for me, like literally, it's the how do I get in and out of all those things. So I'm going to have to do some research before tomorrow, I think. Just to be like, there's got to be some trick. I'm just going to like literally Google how to get in and out of shapes when I free motion quilt. Like, I'm going to literally just ask Google that and see what pops up. There's so many quilters. Someone has to have like a trick that they do to get in and out. And if not, I'm going to figure it out and we're going to do a blog post or a video about it because that's like my biggest issue. Oh, Cheryl says, what did you do with the swan from a while back? I have bought it. I fell in love with it, but I don't know what to use it for. So that, I think I have it nearby. Ooh, I do, right here. So I made it into a zipper pouch. So this I actually hand quilted. So this is hand quilting. You can see all the like little individual stitches. So this was actually a project that I on purpose was trying to learn how to hand quilt on. Here's the back. Oh, I still didn't like get rid of my water-soluble marker lines. I should do that. But anyway, this is what I did with it. I made a zipper pouch. We also tried doing a curved top for this. I hadn't done a zipper with a curved top. I think my... Oh, hey, this is an unused zipper pouch. Ooh, dang. Okay, good. I've been looking for another zipper pouch for to put more crafts in because I've been kind of like putting my crafts in individual little zipper pouches that I have. This one's ready to be used. So yeah, so that's what I did with the swan embroidery. I've been making the embroideries into little tote bags and zipper pouches lately. I just use both of those all the time for different craft projects. I just store, current projects in them, or now I'm trying to start storing actual craft supplies, so like grouping my craft supplies, so all my darning stuff will go in one, all my tatting stuff will go in another, then I can just grab and go. So there's nothing in that swan one yet. Gonna have to do that. I suppose I should spray it, get those blue lines off first. Oh, thanks, Zoe. All right, we got our 3 threads again. Oh, cool. Gretchen says, I put my swan on a sweatshirt and it turned out cute. Did you stitch it directly to the sweatshirt, or did you stitch it on the fabric and then sew the like applique it to the sweatshirt? I'd like to do some sweatshirt things soon. I want to play around with some stuff. We'll see. One, two, three. Okay. All right, so we're approaching that next little miter here. I think this is looking cute so far, though. Definitely not getting done. If we get done with this big letter D, that'd be good progress. Oh, hey, I made a bunch more of those. I just got done before coming live, making more of our flower kits. So if you ordered the flower bundle from me, some of them already went out, but the rest of them will be going out tomorrow morning. I'm finishing them tonight when we're done here, and then I'll be driving them to the post office in the morning. And I'm talking about our first blooms thing here. I just saw them sitting next to me, so here we go. So all your bundles will be going out super soon. I am falling in love more and more with these snowdrops. I've seen lately people starting to post real snowdrops online. So like, they're actual snowdrops that are growing from the ground right now because the snow is melting. And they're just peeking out of the snow, and oh man, I wish we were there. We had more cold weather today, and it was breezy and stuff too. It was pretty unpleasant. We did go for a walk though, not our full walk, but oh, I'm so ready for like some real warmth. And I don't think we're getting it this week, but we're gonna get it next week a little bit. And by warmth, I mean like high 40s. Oh, Linda says, Lori Holt has a free star video. Ooh, that would look good for 4 corners. She suggests stars for Leader Ender project. Oh, I love that. I love Leader Ender projects. Oh, here, Fuzzles, where did you come from? Did you sell your artwork? I don't sell, Zoe's asking over on TikTok, I don't sell, at least right now, I don't sell like finished pieces. I just have kits available. So we do kits, embroidery kits that have like all the supplies and floss and hoop and all that stuff in. And then we did license artwork for a while, so I did have a couple fabric lines. That'd be kind of fun to do again. I don't know, one of these days maybe... Ooh, what is going on here? Oh, I got like... Somehow I grabbed like the little thread ends. What the heck? From my garbage pile. It must have been on my sleeve or something. Yeah, I got more of it here. What? Out of here. Garbage. Made a little pile next to me, and now I'm like stitching it into my piece here. But yeah, I've been wanting to do more kind of art pieces, so maybe sometime in the future. Did you crochet? I crochet. I definitely crochet. I like actually. My favorite thing to crochet. This is just silly. Are doilies, which don't really use a doily, but I do have one out. My grandma used to make doilies all the time. She had tons of them all over, and I actually have her tiny, tiny crochet hooks. And I I have a photocopy of the pattern she used to make from some, magazine. And I love just crocheting that pattern every once in a while. That's, I think, my favorite thing to crochet. So every once in a while when I'm feeling like I need to crochet, I'll get that pattern out again and start a doily. I'm currently knitting like a toy snake, which I'm having so much fun knitting, you guys. I put it in a basket. It's right next to me when I sit on the couch and watch TV or something, so I can just grab it. But my great-grandma made a knit snake like that, and I found a pattern that's pretty similar. I adapted it a little bit, a free pattern online, and I've been knitting that. So crochet, knit, quilting. I just started tatting, and then, embroidery, this sort of stuff. I'd love to get into like garment sewing at some point. That's still a mystery for sure for me. But I love like all the little niche things that you can learn in each individual crafts. Like I just, with all this, I've done some knitting lately, and I worked on, I kind of repurposed, or not repurposed, I just kind of restyled, I suppose, a sweater that my mom had. And I added to the cuffs and to the collar, added some knitting, so I got to learn like how to pick up stitches and do some things like that. So I just love like learning more within each craft, and then I just love like trying new crafts and stuff too. Ooh, you guys, speaking of that, I still want to try doing needle punch for like a needle punch of one of these flowers, and I really would love to do needle punch of that tulip for some reason. So I might try and find some fabric that we can try that needle punch on. It'd be really cool to do it big. I might have to think about that, because I could take the PDF pattern of that tulip. So all those patterns are available as PDFs as well. So I might take the PDF of the tulip and make it bigger, like blow it up on the photocopier or on the printer, enlarge it on the printer, and maybe I will do a larger needle punch, because in my head I was just going to use that tiny needle punch to do like needle punch with embroidery floss on just like, a small circle like this big or something. But now I'm kind of thinking, I do have some monk's cloth. I don't know if it's the right kind of monk's cloth, but I think it'll work fine. But I could get that and then use yarn and make like a bigger one. What would I do with that though? What would I do with like a big tulip? Maybe just hang it on the wall. That'd be kind of fun. So it'd be like making a tulip rug almost. Oh my god, now I kind of want to do that. Now I really want to do that. Okay, we might have to do that. So I'm gonna have to see if I have supplies. So I do have monk's cloth. I think that's a typical thing that people use, like when they make their like the rug gun thing. What is that called? Oh my gosh, we were just talking about this the other day. A tufting gun. I think what they use for a tufting gun is like a monk's cloth, but I think it's like a heftier, different version than what I have. But I did do a small punch needle with that, and it seemed to work fine. So I think for my use, it would be fine. Ooh, Deborah says it would make a wonderful spring pillow top. Oh, that's a good suggestion. I do actually have some pillow forms that I could use too. You're right. So I could do the tulip maybe about this big. So I don't know, like a 9-inch tulip maybe, and then like finish it up, do white around it or something as a square, and then that could be like the front of a pillow that we get that I use like that insert that I have. Ooh, I love that idea. Oh yeah, Catherine says tuft and gun. Yep, I just couldn't think of the tuft part. I knew, like I had, I knew it started with a T, but like my mouth wanted to keep say tatting. I'm like, no, stop it, it's not tatting. So tufting. Yep. Oh, Zoe said you tried it once when you were 10, but your mom accidentally threw it out. Crochet. That's a bummer. Yeah, crochet is relatively easy to learn, I think. There is the anatomy of like the stitches, I think, is a little confusing in crochet until you kind of get it. But after that, it's a fun craft for sure. Oh, Amy says, yes, monk's cloth for the Oxford punch. So monk's cloth is actually what that hedgehog that I have behind me is stitched on. So it looks like large cross-stitch fabric. Like it looks like a large version of Ada fabric because it kind of has like holes and stuff, and that's kind of what you're punching in. But it's softer and flowier than the Ada cloth. Okay, I'm sold on doing a big version of it now. The transferring, I'm not quite sure how to transfer a design onto big stuff. I mean, for my hedgehog, obviously I transferred my hedgehog onto that fabric, but I basically printed out a bunch of, like, I printed it out, but like tiled it. And then I had to, how did I actually get it on there? I'm going to have to remember how to do that. Because I would have to do the same thing. Like, we need to get the design onto the fabric somehow. Oh, and I got to remember to do it in reverse because you're actually doing the punching on the back. And then you flip the piece and that's the front. So I got to remember, so whatever you needle punch has to be in reverse, theoretically. I could just make like a big wall hanging out of it too. That'd be kind of fun. We'll see. Some of the size I think will be determined by like how much I think I can needle punch, and then like I need to hold it down somehow. So I do have some quilting hoops. I need a frame of some sort. So I do have some quilting hoops. Maybe that would work as a frame. Yeah, and then how to transfer it. So I'm going to have to figure some things out, but I totally want to do that. So maybe we'll do that in the last week of the month here. Did you learn all this from my mom? Well, my mom is very crafty. She sews. I learned a lot of quilting from her. For crochet, I just learned it from all different places. So crochet, I learned from, I think, just my grandma. Knitting, I think my friend's mom was the first one that kind of showed me how to do knitting. And I learned a lot of, like, I learned initially in some places, and then, then I'll dig in on YouTube and stuff a little bit more. Embroidery, I don't have a clear memory of actual learning how to do embroidery. I do remember learning cross stitch, which is kind of like part of the embroidery realm. But that I remember like a babysitter coming over when I was little, and she had a cross stitch, and I just remember like falling in love with cross stitch then and there. And I think embroidery just kind of comes out of that a little bit. Oh yeah, I do have a Q-snap frame. I just don't think that's big enough for how big I want to do it, Amy. Yeah, I'd like to go bigger. than that, I think. I think it's an 8-inch by 8-inch Q-snap frame. But I'm thinking like bigger, and I have like a bigger round embroidery hoop quilt frame thing. Ugh, it's going to be kind of annoying to work with, but I want to give it a go. I'll have to find it. I think we are going to get this D done, this large D, and we'll have to probably call it there for the night, and then tomorrow we'll get this little D done. And then we'll think about quilting. We'll assemble it, like sandwich it for quilting, and maybe try and figure out that doing bones and words with quilting a little bit. I'm going to have to do a little research on that. Like I said, I need to do some training, getting in and out of spots with free motion quilting. There's got to be a trick. I'm just not, like, my brain does not do it well. Maybe I just need practice. That's probably literal what needs to happen. I just need to start doodling on a piece of paper, like draw some squares and get in and out of those somehow. But literally, there's got to be someone that wrote some blog post that says something like, okay, now think about it, each little area as small squares, and you always want to enter the square from this side, and then try and, like, exit from this side, and if you enter it from the other side on the other thing, you'll always have, like, a nice little deal happening, or whatever. You know, like, I'm sure there's some mechanical, like, math, geometry type trick. And not trick, but like tip for free motion quilting to get in and out of those spaces. Oh my god, I think I'm going to need another piece of floss. Oh god, I totally am. I'm going to need, I think, another piece of floss for like 6 stitches, or not even, like 3 stitches here. Boo, that's annoying. Maybe not. Maybe we can get it. Maybe I can just do it with 2 here and we'll have enough. Oh, that'd be awesome. Is, Zoe, I'm not sure what you're asking. Is embroidery complicated? I guess like most crafts, it can be as complicated or not as complicated as you want. Like we're being a little bit extra with this letter D, like having these like little mitered corners and doing the stitch like around the bend. But in all, I think embroidery is one of the easiest crafts to learn. Like there's a really low barrier to entry. What is that phrase? Low barrier of entry. It's pretty inexpensive as far as crafts go, and I like saying that if you can color, you can embroider. You're basically just covering up lines with some stitches. So it's like staying in the lines, basically, like coloring. But there we go, we got the letter D done. So we do have that other one to do. That'll take a little bit of time. We do have a piece of thread ready to go for tomorrow. So we'll probably get that done, and then assembling our quilt sandwich tomorrow. And we can probably get a little bit more done than that, too. So maybe we just, I won't have the machine, I mean, I suppose I could have the machine set up and stuff already, but maybe we could just, like, we could cut some of our sashing pieces, potentially. I think we'll actually do the quilting on Friday, because I gotta, like, set up the whole sewing machine and everything, and that's you know, takes up the space here. So we'll finish this and do some assembly, and then we'll do the actual quilting. Maybe we'll do some practice of the, like, on paper of how to quilt, and then yeah, on Friday we'll do the actual quilting. But all right, you guys, Okay, so I guess we got done a little bit early today. I think that's fine, but there we go. We got the letter D done, and we got that super sparkly collar on there. I think it's just looking totally fun. I'm excited about the idea of doing some needle, now I want to say tufting, the punch needle, some of that punch needle for the tulip design. I think that would be really fun. So I got that brewing in my brain now. It's gonna get stuck there, but hopefully we can do that later in the month. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll finish up the dog. I'm happy about that. So great. And then next week, just a reminder, we're gonna be stitching the embroidery of the month, which is the outer space design. So if you order that really soon here, I'll still be able to get it out this week. So you'll be able to get it within the week next week as well. So awesome. Diana says, if a person can hem pants, they can embroider, for sure. Absolutely. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave it there. Oh, Zoe's asking, what time do you start live tomorrow? I am live every evening at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. So I'm in the Midwest, Central Time, 8:30 p.m. All right, you guys, have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.